knocked off a line there. Just an update. We got 28 miles to go. It's estimating 45 miles a range. We're now up to 5% battery. It's now 91 degrees outside, so yeah, with that temperature coming down, it's helped. It can still be stressful at times. Still continuing the trip. Car says 40 miles. It's yellow, meaning the battery's getting low. I have 24 miles left to go. We have already done 124 miles. So trying to get 150 out of a car that's rated. Currently rated at 200 18 miles. I can do a lot better in a city, stop and go traffic. And this temperature is a lot higher. There's a state trooper, Dally. You see somebody up there speeding or something. Waiting for his lights to kick on. He's now changing behind somebody. That are passing him. I am surprised, out of my 90,000 miles and the who knows how many dead bugs on my windshield, I haven't had any hit near the cameras yet. I'm sure it's going to happen eventually. I haven't driven that much in Louisiana. I've always been driving everywhere else. Louisiana, we have those love bugs like crazy, and it just covers the front of the car. Yep, he pulled somebody over. This is where the Tesla is full self-driving, you know, especially on the interstate. It's not on the interstate now, so it's not doing navigate on it on autopilot. But in situations like this, where it sees a police officer pull some flashing lights on the side of the road, it should move the outside lane so that we stay clear and not close to them. And that's interesting. The police officer pulled over another police officer, and now they... Okay, that... I think that other one was impersonating a police officer. He had the lights, but it was too much of an old vehicle. Just jumped out in front of me. Tesla did what it should do. Started braking a little earlier than what I would, because I assumed the car was going to make it across. The Tesla has to assume it's not. So I did kind of override there and, you know, hit the accelerator a little bit to get it to keep going. And hopefully they work on things like that in the future to be able to predict where the car is going and not brake as hard, but kind of start braking and get ready to brake hard if needed. I really think the Tesla should be allowed to lay on the horn and not rely on the driver. So when someone pulls out, instead of just braking, it needs to blow its horn too. Not just to, you know, yell at the person that you're braking for, but to get other people's attention so they pay attention to someone else's, you know, being hazardous or driving reckless. Yes, I'm yawning. Yes, I'm tired. The sad thing is that this week there were some posted road and beach closures. And when they have road and beach closures, that means there's some testing going on. So I was kind of hoping to be able to catch the testing. But instead they canceled those road closures. If they didn't have those road closures to begin with, I probably would have drove home and cut the grass. I do have things to get done at the house. I'm just trying to find time to do it. I don't want to miss something here. And I know I'm not always over there photographing and filming stuff, but for important stuff, I'm trying to get over there for it. But I'm also trying to make ends meet, make a living. And this day and age with COVID-19 and everything, that's not easy. So yeah, discussing all this way here, but I am making it. It's now saying 5%. And considering that we only got a quarter of a way and all of a sudden the car wanted me to turn around and go back. I didn't think I'd make it. It'll really be nice on the car if we can have an option for it to stretch as much as it can, especially when it knows it has a long ride. Put in a kind of a limp mode, more optimization on I mean, then again, I wouldn't complain too much if I could get the full 200 miles of range. That would make it a lot easier. But, we talk about, using the environment, the AC, how that may take away some of your range. And granted, yeah, it does to an extent, not as drastic as you would think, but it does. But even turning off the AC in the car is still cooling the batteries. The car is still heating the batteries, whichever is needed. It's going to keep those batteries cool. To help extend the life of the batteries and to protect the batteries. Semi-truck's brakes don't sound good at all. Construction area. I personally don't like these walls. I always get nervous on these walls. And even right now, the cars want to switch back and forth between lanes. 10 more miles to go. Car is saying 24 miles left in the battery. We'll be getting there at 5%. So it's been strenuous. The range anxiety was definitely there. Hoping that I'd make it all the way. A better route planner pretty much kind of nailed it. Even the stats app did a very good job of estimating what the range would have been. It's pretty close. Been another exciting day. You can just hear the excitement and enthusiasm in my voice. The same amount of excitement you hear from me when Blue Origin has a launch. It's like, oh wow, okay. I'm sorry, I have seen model rockets do similar things. Yeah, not land like that. Yeah, it looks okay, kind of niche, but you're not going to orbit. You're not burning that much fuel. Where's this New Glenn? Where's these BE4 engines? China's had another successful launch, sending more of their astronauts to their international space, to their space station. as China increases, that we are holding SpaceX behind and not letting them do what they need to do. China is not going slow. And with Jeff Bezos pulling more lawsuits and slowing things up, China's going to wind up being on the moon before us. The same for Mars. To hurry up. With everything that's going on in this world, now you got the Taliban taking over. We can't sit back and wait. I don't think we have time anymore. It's been a hard 2 years with COVID-19 now. How much longer is this going to go on? Another 4 or 5 more years? Will our first settlers on Mars all turn out to have COVID-19 and die from that? That would be a shame. Finally get a colony going on Mars and everybody perishes from the COVID-19 virus. I hope that's not the case. I hope we can stop this COVID soon. But there's a lot of other diseases that we've been fighting years for, and we still haven't made any leeway. It's stressful when driving and your range is limited when you're trying to go between two long distance areas. But regardless, I'm still very happy with the Tesla. I could not have asked for a better car. I could have asked for longer range, but hey, you know, I was in a bind at the time. I had to either sell some Tesla stocks to fix the Tahoe, or just go ahead and buy another car. So I sold a lot of Tesla stocks and I bought the Tesla. If I would have had a few more weeks to think about it or to wait, if I wasn't in a bind at the time with what the stocks did, I could have bought 2 Teslas. But that's my luck. It's never always been the best of lucks. Murphy is a very good friend of mine. He visits me quite often, whenever he can. The autopilot is taking its exit here. And now when it comes to the end of the ramp, it's going to ask me to touch the accelerator to continue, basically letting it know I am actually in fact awake. If I don't touch the accelerator, it would actually wind up coming to a complete stop. And I believe it would also put on the emergency blinkers. So if for some reason something happened to someone on the interstate with the navigation autopilot going and it got to their exit, it should stop and turn on the hazards and keep the driver and passenger safe. But I don't think it's very safe to stop off the off-ramp, because people coming off that off-ramp may not be paying attention. Especially if there's other traffic in the area, they'd be looking over their shoulder to merge in. So that's where it would have to move up further and just try to get to a parking lot somewhere. That's where you have to have more of the full self-driving to be able to handle that. Because that way, if the driver gets in a medical emergency, the car can assist. Less than a half a mile, so we made it. With about 11 miles of range left. Definitely need more charging options. And definitely go get the long range model. Yeah, even though you look at the standard range, you think that may be enough range for you, you'll get that stress at times once you start driving a lot. And you may say you're just going to get your car, just drive around town, but you may wind up enjoy driving it too much, and you want to start going on those long road trips. So that extra mileage would help. And not just, help in the range, but, sitting idle, Sentry alert, stand by for summons. All those things will use up some of your range. So the more range, the better. In a way, when we talk about EVs, yeah, size matters. Bigger batteries are always better. Kilowatt rise. At least my car doesn't sound like that truck. That really sounded like some rattling heads or something. I don't know. I'm not an auto mechanic, so I'm not sure. But that was not sounding like a healthy truck at all. And here we are making it to McAllen. There's supercharger in yet another hotel parking lot. The Embassy Suites here in McAllen. The only supercharger in McAllen. The next supercharger is in Brownsville or Kingsville. And then South Padre Island. South Padre Island only has 2 supercharger connections. We have a Tesla there just parking at a supercharger, but it's also one that's broken. So they're definitely not charging, they're just parking there. If it's broken, it's okay to park there. I am very tired. I do want to appreciate anybody who was actually listening. I appreciate it. Thumbs ups are nice too. It helps. I'm sorry this has been a mixed bag, not knowing what to talk about. I'm not going on it for script or anything. I'm just bored while I'm driving by myself. And I figure if I'm streaming YouTube, I'm technically not talking to myself. So I'm not that crazy yet. Let me plug in real quick here. And yeah, it is good to get out and stretch your legs at least for a few seconds after sitting in the car for 3 hours. It's a long ride. So we're starting our supercharging here. It's at 65 kilovolts right now because it's so low. As it gets up to, I think it's like 5% or 8%, it should speed up. So when it's very low, it's slow. When it's very high, when it's high, it's slow. When it gets over 75, 80%, it starts slowing down the charge again. But right here, we're at 7% battery. Still at 70, well, it's starting to pick up now. 71 kilowatts. 72, 73, 74. So yeah, about 7% battery, then it starts cranking up. So now we're going up to this is only 150 kilowatt supercharger. This is a standard range plus, so it does charge slower. But it's up to 150, 140 kilowatts. If I was at a 250 kilovolt or kilowatt supercharger, it would only go up to 170 kilowatts in the standard range plus. You don't get the full charging capabilities you do with the long range. It is a smaller battery, so you can hear the fan kicking in now to cool the battery as it's getting warm from charging. That's not the fan, that's actually an airplane passing over. This hotel is actually quite close to the airport. So if you're flying into McAllen and you're staying at the Embassy Suites Hotel, you can just toss your luggage out just before you land. And it may just land in the parking lot of your hotel, save you from having to drag it all the way over here yourself. Of course, I don't recommend doing that. It's not polite. And I have about an hour and a half to get back to the hotel on the island. I have to give someone a ride to the airport tomorrow morning. And then somebody else a ride to another airport at noon tomorrow. So I have 2 airport runs tomorrow to do. If any of y'all ever fly into the Harlingen Valley Airport or the Brownsville Airport and need a ride from there to the island for SpaceX or to Brownsville, feel free to contact me. I may be available. It's now dropping down to 120 kilowatts. And we're only at 27%. But like I say, if there was a supercharger between here and Laredo, I could have stopped for like 5 minutes and charged and be on my way, and not have that extra range anxiety. I mean, I did stop and grab a drink at Burger King. You know, that few minutes there could have been enough to get me a little bit further. So right now I'm just trying to charge up enough to make it to the island. I did have someone to buy it, bought a Tesla Model Y, and they used my referral code, so they got 1,000 free supercharger miles, and so have I. So, you know, as you can see, this current session is $0 because I'm still using that 1,000, some of that 1,000 miles for this. So far, he's very excited about his Model Y long range. He does live in an apartment complex, so he probably hits the supercharger every now and then, charge up, and leave it, you know, parked and what have you. Which is another reason, you know, if you have another reason to get a long range, you can have that extra mileage for while sitting where you don't have a house to plug it into. But we need to get these apartment complexes and condos to start installing charging options. Not just for Tesla, but for all EVs. I mean, I'm not saying to have them pay for it, but just have something where they can have it on somebody's meter, or have a meter for one of the tenants. So yeah, we haven't been here too long, and I already have 85 miles of range, which estimated range 75 miles. And it is 75 miles to the hotel from here. If I take a longer route, it's 85 miles. So technically right now I am good to go. I can make it to the hotel. Tesla's still recommending 10 more minutes. Gives me a little extra buffer room for distance. Now we're down to 80 kilowatts. So I had the 140 up for a little bit. And this is, like I say, the standard range plus. It does have a smaller battery pack, so if you had the long range and you're at 45-50%, that would be what, close to 150 miles. That'd be pretty close to the same amount of time. So for me to charge up to 80% here takes me about the same length of time as a Model Y long range does to get to 80% battery, except for they're getting more range. So you're charging faster in the long range, which means if you're at a supercharger charging by the minute, you're saving money. So when I'm at those supercharged that charge by the minute, I wind up spending more money, which means the long range will be more economical per mile. Whenever I do pay for supercharging, I very, very, very rarely ever pay more than $7. It usually averages between $4 and $6. And even when I'm charging to 100%, I may get to about $8 or $9. But that's very rare. I haven't checked the track of these storms in the Gulf. Last I saw, that one coming into the Gulf was heading south. More into Mexico, and that's what the track is still showing. So hopefully it doesn't change paths too much. Hopefully it continues on its course and stays away from SpaceX. A couple of the guys making it back to their Tesla. After it's finished charging. So yeah, we've added 104 miles already. Dropped down to 65 kilowatts. Ah. So 116, 117 miles with 103 estimated range. Sometimes 10 minutes feels a lot longer than 10 minutes. Sometimes 10 minutes is longer than 10 minutes. 5 minutes. Now, if I could have broken this charging up into 2 stops, and those to be 2 shorter stops, it would not feel as much of an inconvenience. I'd rather stop twice for 10 minutes than one time for 20. Oh, and what China has launched is some satellites into orbit, not some more crew. It was China. So I just kind of wonder where the booster is going to land this time. Let's play the Chinese booster roulette. So it looks like we do have a bunch of new road closures for the 24th, 25th, and 26th for SpaceX. It is for the beach and the road. So will they be doing testing next week? So we got August 24th from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m., another nighttime one. Closure schedule, both beach and road. The 25th from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m., both beach and road. And then the 26th from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. again, both beach and road. Closed. So 3 days in a row. 24th, 25th, and 26th. Well, I'm going to sign off of here, and I'm going to unplug, and I'm going to continue my drive so I can take someone to the airport tomorrow morning. We're now dropping down to 54 kilowatts. As you can hear, the cooling's gone down. And we're at 64% battery. So, between 7% and, 30, 40% is the fastest charging time I have on mine. If I let it keep going like this, it will continue to slow down to protect the battery. And again, this is 1 year old Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus with currently 90,108 miles on it. I've done a lot of driving. I'm hoping to keep driving this car another 300,000 miles, I hope. We'll see how the car holds up. How the degradation of the battery holds up. it's more of a curve and not a straight line. So it's, you know, I don't know if you can see this or not, but let's see here, it's more starting to plateau off. So it may get to a point where it won't lose any more range, or start losing range just a lot slower, hopefully. But we will find out. Anyway, y'all have a good night. If I get too tired, I'm going to pull over and sleep. At least I can find some destination charges between here and the island.